If I asked you to get a piece of paper and something to write with, and to make a numerical list of all the things that you would be willing to die for, how long is your list?
The Panther 48.
Willing to die for.
The Panther 48.
Willing to die for. How long is your list?
What is the tribal self?
The Panther 48.
The tribal self is what goes above the immediate acquaintances of the social.
Willing to die
The
for.
family, the people you know, live next door.
You would be willing to die for.
Tribal
The
self.
Panther 48.
I'm talking about those movies, those yet unheard.
And much more than they thought they would. For decades, an invite to one of Sean Diddy Combs' infamous parties was a ticket to rub shoulders with Hollywood's elite. The likes of the Kardashians, Jay-Z and Leonardo DiCaprio basked in the music mogul's wealth and power. These days, though, A-listers are distancing themselves from Combs and the horrific claims of what really went on after those parties behind closed doors.
You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel.
12 days ago, federal agents marched Combs out of a Manhattan hotel in handcuffs. Years of rumour were finally legitimised in a grand jury indictment accusing the music heavyweight of sex trafficking and racketeering.
The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
It's all played out exactly how former FBI agent Tracy Walder predicted when she spoke to 60 Minutes earlier this year after armed raids on Combs' Miami and Los Angeles properties. She knew then it would take 6 months at least before agents would have enough evidence to arrest him.
It was very clear that a lot of the information that they got was from digital evidence that was taken from the.
He's basically been charged with 3 counts in the indictment. The 3 counts of racketeering charges, sex trafficking, and prostitution. Now, I know we done heard a lot of other things. Then you have the silver suits. You have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 47 people that alleged silver suits against them, women, men, for sexual assault, all of them seeking money. And racketeering, you done heard things like they're saying that he's forced labor, sex trafficking, arson, bribing, obstruction of justice. That goes into the racketeering. A racketeering charge is essentially the definition of racketeering. It is a term used to describe a pattern of illegal activities that are carried out to further a criminal enterprise. It's something that they created in order to charge mob bosses. They created the racketeering charge for the purpose of charging mob bosses. There's an underlying crime, and then there are other crimes that are done to protect the underlying crime. And so he has 3 counts in the indictment. Everybody also know about the Cassie thing. They showed the video of him chasing Cassie in the hotel, dragging her, throwing her to the ground, stomping her out, things of that nature. So people may ask, what does this have to do with anything revolutionary? It sounds like the Panther 48 is just getting involved in the gossip. What does this have to do with a revolutionary thinking, a revolutionary community? Brother Ward, can you kind of explain that to the people, why we felt the need to chime in on this subject?
Well, 2 things that come to mind with me is, number one, when we look at what they do to him, it's just a kind of classic example of what we saw before with COINTELPRO through character assassination, and what we always see when they want to come after somebody, period. So to me, what the public need to realize and pay attention to is the example of the use of character assassination in order to take down somebody that the public may try to come out against or may try to defend. Number 2, how easy it is for us to be manipulated away from something of great importance by getting trapped and caught up in celebrity mess. So I see it from a twofold aspect. When we talk about getting our folks to be more conscious of revolutionary action and engaging in revolutionary action, when you got things like this, when it come to Hollywood, when it comes to entertainers, whether he's doing music, doing a TV show, or getting arrested, it's all entertainment. And from that standpoint, it actually may suck more people into being distracted away from doing revolutionary stuff or being conscious about changing their condition because he's getting arrested. So now everybody glued in front of the TV, really want to get involved, how their opinion about his case and aspects of how crazy freak offs are, knowing that all this stuff went on, in order to just again suck our time up and our energy up into not being able to deal with the real deal. But as it applies to that character assassination point, my biggest concern with that is just the simple fact that when we talk about destroying a character, whether it be somebody through entertainment or a political figure or anything, we have to be able to see the fact that the deal is the first thing you want to do is manipulate the image that somebody portrays so that the people can focus their emotions on the situation instead of the logic behind the situation. So when we look at that, and as it applies to Diddy, showing him with all of the bottles of lube, the dildos, and then keep showing the clip of when he beat Cassidy up. Mind you, that case was handled in civil. She's done with that. That's a civil case. Money been exchanged, all that, whatever. The deal is, when you keep showing that, what you do is you get the people behind the fact that, hey, he need to be locked up. Something need to be done. He need to be taken out. And once you got somebody's character assassinated through public image, then whether you actually using legal means to take somebody down or not, a lot of times become irrelevant, because in people's mind, they already feel like he's guilty, he should go to jail, and he should serve the time because you destroyed his character. Once you destroy his character, then it's a hell of a lot easier to go for what the real intentions may be. Because the way I see it, mind you, when you talk about Hollywood, period, when you talk about people of power that make it a name for themselves to and get economically well off, the first thing they want to do is associate you with perversion. They want to get something on you anyway to where it can distract you away from ever utilizing your economics, your position of power, your position of influence, from being able to be used for a liberation cause. I even would go back to what we have to see about Tupac, and what a lot of people don't realize. Tupac was chairman of the Black Panther, the new African Black Panther Party, until he got famous and locked in with Death Row. Once that happened, and once he got all wrapped in with Death Row, he got basically started shifting away of his purpose of actually being injected into the industry, and that's to bring revolutionary conscience to the industry. And then he allowed the whole mannerism of what he was representing in that limelight to make him lose focus in terms of the importance of his life and the importance of what the legacy he was supposed to be bringing to the masses was about. And when he got shifted off his game and got wrapped up into this East Coast, West Coast beat, and allowed that and his personal emotions of getting set up to be fueled away from what he was supposed to be for the liberation struggle, it changed the whole narrative and allowed him to be set up the way he did. And so when I look at people of positions of importance and influence and of power in the entertainment industry, the whole point is to get them wrapped up, caught up in luster, caught up in things that will make sure that if you try to go outside of the box that we've set you up in, then we're going to take you down. And that's kind of what I see with Diddy as well. He allowed his personal demons to be inflated through Hollywood, through the money, through power. And at some point, he lost touch with reality of how he got put on to power.
So he got too big for his britches, is what you're saying.
Yep.
So the deeper question is, because you said you alluded to something, you said they'll destroy him publicly and then they'll go after the true the true purpose of it, or the true goal, the end game. Do you see an end game, or do you think all these people that's coming out against him is just honestly telling the truth, and he just happened to be some guy that's just some freaky guy that was raping people and interstate prostitution and all this? Do y'all believe that that's really the situation that's going on?
Yes to all of the above.
I disagree. There we
Okay.
go. We gonna have a good one. I disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. And what I mean is, yeah, it's a possibility that he's some kind of freak. You know what I mean, most of these people are at that level. If most of these people,
Possibly.
well,
Possible.
I say possibly because I wasn't there and I don't know him. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that's the reason I say that allegedly. But with no doubt, I remember watching one time a Charleston White video, and he said, and he might have been jousting because you know how he does. But I was watching the Charleston White video, and he said that the biggest he want to get is 8 million. He said because when you start getting past that, you start getting into that world of the freaks. And he said that the more money you have, the bigger appetite you get. He
Yep.
say he said so when you get that certain level of money, you start thinking about wild things that you could possibly be doing on the other side of the planet, and there's no limitation, there's nothing to check you but your own discipline. And so we'll see that a lot of these people do get in these positions. But another thing that I think about is a Jay-Z verse. He said in a line, he said, people don't understand every day I'm living with stress. Got off the streets, you think a figure could rest. But I can't go to a party unless I'm on the dance floor in a hot ass vest. You think I'm effing these chicks, right? I'm trying not to brush against their breasts. You get a lawsuit for shit like that. I feel trapped. And you know what he's stating is, I done got to such a financial level that if I'm on a dance floor and I mess around and brush against a female's breast, I'm gonna get charged with a lawsuit. Or look at Tupac. Do we think that Tupac really raped this woman who had gave him head on the dance floor at a club, in a club in the booth the night before? Did he really rape this woman? I mean, think about the things that you go through at this celebrity level, especially at this financial level. This is what I'm thinking about when I say I don't think that he didn't have to rape these people or had to do all the things that they're accusing him of. I think it's something deeper than that. Matter of fact, I'd be willing to go into a little conspiracy theory a little bit because listening to something that Dr. Umar just said. Dr. Umar was talking about his business, and he was too. He went to EYL's I forget the name of the event, but EYL, a group called Earn Your Leisure, who deals primarily on black economic development. That's their whole platform is built on, and they have Invest Fest. That's what it's called. They done created a platform called Invest Fest, kind of like the Source Awards, but it's all financial. It's all deals with economics. And they had P. Diddy on. And P. Diddy talked about his case with this liquor giant Diego. I believe that's the name of it. And he talked about suing them. Now the ironic thing is it's a couple of months after suing them that all this stuff came up, after suing them. And all this time we've been thinking that Diddy was the owner of Ciroc. We've been thinking that he was the guy who owned Ciroc. Diddy doesn't actually own Ciroc. Diego owns Ciroc. And Diddy, again, just like it has always happened, was the face of it in order to get the black crowd. Now, Diddy says in that interview, he says that he decided to do business with them and agreed to do business with them under certain stipulations. That Ciroc was a brand that they already had. But Ciroc, before Diddy came on board, they was moving like 20,000 cases. I can't remember if that was a month or a year. After Diddy came on board, put his spin on it, put his name on it, and promoted it the way he did, it went from 20,000 cases to over 1 million cases in that same time frame. So he basically blew the brand up and saved it. Same thing that Jay-Z did with uh with Duce. People think Jay-Z created Duce. Jay-Z didn't create Duce. Duce was already a brand. Think of it like I can't remember what country it comes from, but think of it like what MD or something is, and it might not be that bad, is her. That's what it was across seas, some old cheap brand. Jay-Z went into business with these people, brung that brand here, put his face on it, spoke about it in a few rap videos. Now Duce is considered an up-named brand. He done blew it up. And that's primarily where these black billionaires are getting their money from. Jay-Z didn't get his billions from rap. He got his billions from the spirits industry. P. Diddy didn't get his billions from rap. He got his billions from the spirit industry. But when you at this level of the game, like P. Diddy said in InvestFest, he said, I think y'all got it all twisted. When you at this level of the game, I don't, matter of fact, let me play the video, then I'm gonna allow E to come in because I think E got something that he want to say or speak on it. So let me play.
13 black billionaires in.
Can you hear that, E?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay, as long as you can hear it, E.
In America, you're one. As far as I believe, there's like 13 black billionaires in America. You're one of them. It's almost an impossible feat to accomplish.
Wait, hold on, wait. There's no claps for that? That should be standing to your feet. It's a black billionaire. You kidding me? Everybody should be up.
No.
That's crazy. You know where he's from? New York.
Yo, we can never normalize being a billionaire.
Not an everyday thing, man.
By the way, we know almost all of them.
Yeah. Also true.
That's a fact. We'll have another one tomorrow. That's a fact. Finesses only.
Yeah. I wanna be careful with that, y'all. When they talk about us having money and y'all look at us, it's truly an illusion of inclusion.
We'll talk about that.
I can't play a part of the illusion of inclusion. So you're looking here at me like I'm totally included. No, I'm fighting for the same thing I was fighting for when I got into the game, but it's at another level. And so it's very important to understand this is the truth. Out of all the billionaires in the world got almost 9 billion people in it. There's only 16 black billionaires. So that's the illusion. So every time, yeah, it feels good for one of us to get in, two to get in, but we got to stop taking the crumbs. It's time for way more of us out of 9 billion. I want 2 billion to be billionaires. I don't want nothing less for myself or my people.
That's why I was going to ask you, as far as being such in rare space, who do you talk to? Like, I know obviously it's you and Jay, a few other people, but
I wanted to play that out of his mouth. He said a few more things in that interview. Like one of the things he said that even at that level, he getting fought. He fighting. He said, matter of fact, in that same interview, he likened it to the whites only toilets and the black only toilet. He said even in that space, he's allowed to only play at a certain level. And that's what he sued Diego about. He said that the agreement with Diego is if he saved the brand Ciroc, that he would actually be business partners with them to drop his own tequila and actually be an owner. And he said once he saved Ciroc and then he went to fulfill the other part of the contract, Diego basically said, no, we're not doing that. Basically, he said, you can't own this. We'll let you make your little billion, playing with our brand, but we're not going to let you go off and do your own thing. No, we're not doing that. And he went and turned around and he sued Diego. And then after he sued Diego, and this is what he said, this is what Umar said. You got the federal agents running into his house and all this stuff come down on dude. That seems a little suspicious to me. But go ahead, E. I know you had some idea to break the build on that.
Well, I mean, it's just the same scenario. We've talked about this before. This idea, I mean, you have gatekeepers. I mean, yeah, he's corrupted to the core. And that's how cats like Clive Barker, that's what they use to manipulate him to put him in the position of being a gatekeeper. I mean, he sells what they want him to sell to the masses. He keeps the masses listening to bullshit. He, serves as this, look, he did it, you can do it too, as we pursue this rat race to get up into the corruption, to move ourselves up further and further into position within a corrupt system. So I mean, that's why I say it's all of the above that you named earlier. It's all of those things. Those things, some things are manipulated, some things are his position, and for whatever the reason, which we'll never know the reason 100%. There'll always be theories and ideas, and somebody will be able to say this and somebody's got some information, but maybe it's not real information, maybe, you know, whatever. But the reality of it is he serves as an example of where we are culturally, that, you know, you you gotta be a fucked up person to turn your child over, give custody to some motherfucker on essentially the basis of getting rich, of coming up, of becoming wealthy. I mean, damn all the rest of that shit, we're giving him our kids. We have no position, especially I think it was D.L. Hughley said something, which is weird, I guess, but he said something that I think was so, well, gotta be so. If you see something and that ain't right and you choose not to say anything about it, you're not a witness, you're an accomplice. You're assisting what the fuck is going on because you're not doing anything to prohibit it, to keep it from happening. So, you know, and this is again, this is just a reflection of where we are socially. We grant, because it's not his fault. It's not even the system's fault. It's our fault. We put this motherfucker up. We did that. We bought into the bullshit. And for whatever reason, he's played his part, and it's time for his part to switch up. The powers that be have decided, okay, you need to play a different part. We got this election shit coming. We need a distraction. You know, we've got whatever other political stuff going on. The mayor of New York has just become the first sitting mayor to face federal charges. And this is just a week or 2 weeks, whatever, after Diddy got busted up, and it's the same prosecutor on both of them. You know, that's coincidental. You know, there are ties that go on with this shit. And what's crazy is we know this shit's happening. Deep down, we know this is some bullshit. We know this type of shit goes on. Yeah, if he's freaky or whatever, I don't care. He can use 2,000 bottles of lube a night for himself. It doesn't matter to me. The part that sticks out for me is the whole trafficking aspect of it. Again, because what's one of the, I don't know if y'all have seen some of these other documentaries from particularly white boys where they're going into, well, they pretty much laid it out to say that the United States is the biggest sex trafficker in the world. And they've laid it out through border agents and folks in the, there was a former, he was an officer in Homeland Security, within the Border Patrol group. And he gave testimony in front of Congress saying that he was told specifically not to say anything about these folks coming across the border. So this whole idea of sex trafficking now coming out as a political issue, as a social issue, with everything that's going on at the border and all of that, coming out at the same time that Buddy's getting beat down. I mean, all of these things tie in together. And we've gotten so caught up in needing, quote unquote, proof for every damn thing, which again, as I said, we'll never have proof. We'll never know for certain, but we fucking know. But the reality is we don't want to know. You know, first time we heard about him taking somebody's kid with him to, what is it, Puffy Land or some shit, we knew. That's it. What? How much talking would it take for me to convince you to sign over parental rights from Iran could take from the babies? How long would I have to talk to you to get you to sign that shit over to me?
There's nothing you can say to make that happen.
Exactly.
Now see, I gotta be the I gotta play God's advocate right quick. I have to do this because I don't think the man did no sex trafficking and molesting the children, because he ain't been charged with no molesting the children. I think that all the stuff that we've been shown on the media was to demonize this dude's character. I'm not saying this dude is 100% innocent. I'm not saying this dude is some savior or anything, but I've seen the other side of these indictments. I've seen this, and I'm not gonna say the brother's name because the brother got a lot of time. He ended up got, and I saw this. What is it? 2024. I was around a guy when I went on vacation around 2002, and this guy had got charged with a federal indictment, racketeering, all of it, and he had been charged with moving. I can't remember the what they charged with. It were tons of cocaine, and they seized 1 point some million dollars out of his garage. And that's why I'm not gonna say his name because I don't know if he has an appeal in court. I don't know if he's fighting because he admitted to me that he moved work. He admitted that, but he said he looked at me in my eyes and said, "Brother Sight, I ain't never in my life seen tons of cocaine." But what they do, what they'll mess around and do is they'll take an average of the area that this guy got busted in. They're taking average of what's estimated to be moved within the time that they've estimated that he was actually able to move work. And then they'll charge him with all of it, even though none of it ties to him, even though he himself was never caught with any cocaine. That's where the conspiracy comes in. And they charged him with conspiracy, racketeering, and all this. They charged him with all this, and then they even called the gang. That's what they do. They'll name it after you. They'll call it the Brother E, the Brother E organization. And Brother E and the people in the group have never called it this. They've never named the federal government will name it this. The federal government versus the Brother E organization. They'll give Brother E the kingpin charges, and then they'll name all these other people, might be 40-some people in the indictment. Then they'll give all these other people what's called, I think it's called a 52K, if I remember this correctly, but it's basically the snitch code in the federal guidelines that allow them to snitch up. It allows them to snitch up to decrease their time. It's an incentive to lie on Brother E in order to decrease their own time. So at the end, the federal government, with its 97% conviction rate, gets his conviction on Brother E, and Brother E gets to rot in prison for the rest of his life. And Brother E was really only moving a quarter key every so often, but they done charge you with tons, and they done made you eat everybody else's work. I've seen this, and I've seen how they play dirty, and I'm looking at this. We used to talk about this, about when Farrakhan said, he say, whenever they want to kill somebody, the first thing they do is they destroy you in the eyes of the people. They destroy your image. They done put 1,000 things of baby oil on the screen about this man. All these dildos about this man. All this rape accusations and child molestation accusations. I think this dude, and again, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try not to talk so long because I have when it comes to the federal government and when it comes to law enforcement charging black people, I kind of got a personal thing with that. It kind of bothers me a little bit. So I can talk all day about this. So I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna pull up and let some of you other brothers come in on this. But I've seen this. Another thing that I've seen on a lower level, because I've never in my life been around billionaires, but I've been around and seen and witnessed drug dealers, dudes that was what we call hood rich, and it don't take a lot to be hood rich. You got 10 grand, 50, you got access to $10,000, $20,000, you hood rich. You driving something nice, you blinged out, you hood rich. And I done seen dudes in my neighborhood. It was a dude, and I'm not gonna say a name because he could be charged with Diddy charges for all of this. But he was one of the dudes in the hood that had his own house, a 2-bedroom house, not a mansion like Diddy. And I keep comparing this because think about what Diddy had access to. I'm talking about a dude that probably had access $10, $20, $30,000. He got a 2-bedroom house in the hood. He got 2 cars, nice looking cars. He had weed, he had drugs, he had alcohol at his house all the time, food, and he let people come there for free. The females love to come there. Strippers love to come there. And with all the strippers and the women there for the free weed, for the free drugs, for the free alcohol, a lot of dudes like to be there. And they would have, he never called it this, and I'm pretty sure P. Diddy never called it this, freak off. See, they'll put these terms on it. He'd have these freak offs, and nobody was getting raped. Nobody was actually getting raped, but I'm pretty sure if this dude blew up to millionaire status today, there'll be women that will come out and say that they was drugged and that they was raped. Because it was women that was ran trains on in these places. They was, but I never myself personally saw non-consensual, and I'm talking about years ago. I'm not talking about anything since I've been a grown man. These was things that I would see in my teens, 18, 19 years old, when you'd see these type of things in the hood. And this was a normal thing in the hood. So when I see this, I compare it to looking at it on a smaller level to what P. Diddy must have been doing. They call it interstate prostitution, interstate trafficking. I'm pretty sure this dude was bringing in exotic women, probably from Paris, from France, from Brazil, from Barbados, prostitutes, women who sell their body already to fill these rooms up. Because think about how people at this level do business. I bring some sexy escorts, some bad escorts in. I need War. I need to do a business deal with War. I need to do a business deal with E. I bring these in. E, you the president of this alcohol company. War, you the president of this film company. You got the pool. You got the levels. I heard War likes threesomes. I heard he loves his exotic weed and he loves to be in orgies. So I bring these exotic prostitutes in. I bring all the exotic weed. I got to do this that's on call to bring the weed in. When I bring E in, when I bring War in, I tell War, I got everything you need, baby. We can talk business in the morning. Spend the night. Enjoy my hospitality. See them two women over there. War look over there. I'm talking about I got women over there that look exactly like what War like. I done did a whole profile on War. War has the time of his life. War gives me the film deal I want in the morning. This is not hard to see, and then later, and here's where the issue comes in. Because when you're in the public sight, when you're in the public eyesight, you have to be careful of your character. Your character got to be unassailable. I promise you that if Minister Farrakhan had been doing stuff like this, they would have been took Farrakhan out with something like this. He didn't get him no way in, and I'm just guessing because I don't know Farrakhan. Malcolm, if he would have done things like this, I'm pretty sure they would have took Malcolm out with stuff like this. But Malcolm gave them no way in. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm arguing from. This is the perspective I'm arguing from to look at this from another point of view. Because I think it's somebody. It might not be Diego. It might be somebody else. Whoever it is, they're powerful. They got powerful friends in the political arena and in the law enforcement arena because they are basically trying to burning the house down. They burn if P. Diddy don't go to prison for the rest of his life. One thing about it, P. Diddy is not gonna get access to being P. Diddy anymore. They burning the house down. He done been crucified by public opinion. It's kind of like what they did to Murder Inc. The feds came in, arrested these dude. These dude, one of the few people that have beat. I told you, feds got a 97% conviction rate. They arrested Murder Inc. Had Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, had them dudes in trial. They were trying to charge these dudes with nothing sexual, but I'm talking about that they was connected to a black mafia, the Supreme team. They was having people assassinated according to the federal government, but they couldn't prove it. These dudes ain't never recovered from that since. But go ahead. That's all I wanted to. I want to lay that foundation out. He done laid it out and went to sleep on me.
Well, I don't think anything he said still is any different. It is still all the above. But see, you got to go back to this. It's like the deal is, and when we talk about this with P. Diddy, the deal is that based on legal on how legality and how the law works, it is interstate.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
The things he doing does fall within limits of them being able to try to prosecute him on it.
Yeah.
The end is what he does, like you said, is no different than what all of these. Well, I wouldn't say all of them. That ain't right, but a good percentage of what Hollywood and the entertainment industry and business practices do. All of these are unethical business practices that go on and have become a mainstream way of doing business. The difference between that and what the other people do that don't get reported is that I think it goes back to a person making the wrong move, getting a little bit too big, and the nigga getting out of his place.
Yeah,
it's time to pull your card. I think when you get to a certain level of power, if you are not going to continue to play the game or be quiet or suppress everything else and know when to accept no as an answer, then that's what happens. The minute I think he went into that situation of suing some another industry that was way more powerful, because that's not a move that other cats would have made.
Yeah.
When you do that, all of a sudden now you recognize you done declared war, and that's the point. At that moment, he declared war. And when you declare war upon somebody that fed you, mind you, from that standpoint, that's just a quick phone call through the circles of power. And look, this nigga done crossed the line. He ain't worth anything no more. We can take him out and get somebody else, put somebody else into the place. And like in sight, the same as how you seen and witnessed through the streets, I have too, as far as the line going around the corner for the next drug dealer, the street cat corner, to be able to get in the shoes of somebody else that's on top. Because that was just a matter of proving myself to be able to, hey, be able to be next in line. And they'd line up around the corner to replace Diddy. So he ain't really nobody special as it applies to somebody willing to sell their soul to get in the position he got in. There's plenty of them out there willing to take Diddy's place and do everything he did other than make that one call that got him X'd out. Plenty of them ready to get put on the same way he got put on. So the point being is he not anybody special as it applies to what you're willing to go through to get to where you got in that position of power. The gate is only gonna crack open for so many amount of people. Again, they will not let it. Capitalism, fascism, imperialism will not let Black people, as it applies to economics, put ourselves in a collective empowerment position like these individual billionaires are doing. It ain't designed to do that.
Yeah.
If we were to attempt to try to utilize that platform of economics for the sake of becoming a powerful nation as African people, it'll get stopped right out front. And as long as somebody's willing to indulge and do all of the same things that they, like he said, that they did to get put on, and those are just safeguards basically to get put on. As long as you're willing to do that and you're willing to contribute to that part of the system, they'll let you get so far. But there's always that possibility, just like how it is with any criminal situation like that, that somebody can X you out of the game and you wiped off the board, and somebody else gonna come replace and take your spot. There's plenty of people waiting to take that spot. And so the further up you go, the more ruthless the game becomes. And I think that's all we're dealing with, because when you talk about high levels of exploitation, you got to be ruthless any damn way. And so I think the power just ended up becoming to a point to where, hey, he made his match. He made one deal the wrong way, and now he's going to face the consequences. And they want to make sure that anybody else that think they're going to try them same things or going to see Diddy as an example, so you know to be quiet. It's like Dr. Umar, one of the videos he said he urged Diddy to not squeal, to not squeak, and not tell on who else, because that is a death sentence. He telling them right up front, if you think you're gonna go out and call out other people because of what happened to you, you know that's automatic death sentence. And Diddy didn't step into this game to be a revolutionary. He didn't step into it for a righteous reason. So calling folks out is just really at this point is just making sure that, hey, somebody else is doing the same. It's just another way of saying somebody else doing the same thing I'm doing. Why are you after me? What makes me so different? Why I got to take the fall when such and such over there been doing this all along, and this person been doing this all along? Why I got to go down by myself? But that is breaking the code.
And I think, you know what I think, and I'm gonna show y'all another video to back up this idea that I'm supposed to express. I agree 100% that this dude didn't come in the game to be a revolutionary. But one of the things that I think that happened at this level, because he talks about it in that clip I showed y'all from Invest Fest. I think he got up there and then he saw, or probably was even told straight up, that you still a nigga. You just a nigga. We'll let you get some of this bread. We'll put you in a position of a gatekeeper. You use your dancing and your face to help sell us some more, make us some more money, and we'll let you get a little money, but stay in your nigga place. And I think he got offended by that. And I think that woke something up in his mind, because it happens. It's always a trigger point that it gets you to realize that, damn, Malcolm was right. He's right. You know, it's a trigger point that gets you to realize that Dr. Khalid was right. These dudes are right. And if you notice, you just look at the path of progression. He started his TV company. He called it Revolt for some reason. For some weird, strange reason, he called it revolt. Or the things he just said when I showed y'all that clip from InvestFest. Looked like he was about to cry a little bit. Looked like he was getting emotional. He had to stop and pause himself. And he said when they told him to clap that he was a billionaire, he said, if you look at the video on your own time, you look at it and he said, man, I can't be a part of that though. Because I got to keep it real. He said, out of 9 billion people on the planet, there's only 16 black billionaires. He say it's an illusion of inclusion. He said, even when you get up there, and I didn't keep the video going because I didn't want to sit up and watch this long video. But later on in the video, he said, man, when you get up there, you realize it's still the same battles, just on another level. He's gonna say in that video, he said, man, when you get up there, it's literally a whites only section. He says it's literally a whites only section when you get up there. And I think he got there, and the whole time he believed in capitalism. He believed that it was fair, and he believed that he was going to be able to get to another level. And then he got up there, and they told him, oh, no, nigga section is over there. Even in Ciroc, they would only market it to the hip-hop community. That's it. They wouldn't market it around the globe the way he wanted it marketed. That's one of the things that he was fighting against. And I want to show y'all this video to assert more of this idea that I'm talking about. I'm gonna show y'all this video right quick. Now this one here,
love versus hate,
is the one that's most telling to me. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
The number one priority is to get Trump out of office. The tribe of people that
let me go a little bit farther for ego crazy. He talking about getting Trump out of office. Let me move past that.
Movements that I've ever launched. And it's called Our Black Party.
Okay.
It's time for us to have our own black political party, unapologetically. Because right now, if you look at the debates, we're not even a part of the conversation.
Not at all.
We're not a part of the conversation. We don't have any political power. We don't have any political leverage. And so we started Our Black Party with some young, fearless black activists, elected officials, and I've stepped up and put the money behind it. Mm-hmm. This is the biggest threat and the only option that we have right now as far as making a change, taking our own self-responsibility and accountability to be educated and empowered with our vote.
So what's the goal for our Black Party?
Our Black Party's number one goal is to unify behind a black agenda. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. You could be a part of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, you could be an independent, but if you black, you wasn't born Republican, you wasn't born Democrat, you wasn't born independent, you was born black. Mm-hmm. And we have to seize our political power because it'll just be more the same. Being pushed this way, being pushed that way, and we expecting
a different result.
Mm-hmm. But the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over the same way, expecting a different result, and it's not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So we have to change the tone. We gotta start with us stepping up and really taking the responsibility and accountability to be a part of this political movement.
The hardest part of that is gonna be getting other black people to buy into it.
This is not for all black people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is not for the scary ones. Mm-hmm. This is for the ones that wanna move things forward and want to get to the smoke. A black person spends an average of like 5 hours on Instagram a day. Mm-hmm. If you could give Instagram that time, mm-hmm. 15 minutes you could give to educating yourself. Mm-hmm. And Our Black Party's that platform. So when we get down to the local elections, when we get down to the school board, we get down to the judges and the justices, that's so confusing for us. Mm-hmm. We've never played this game. This is another level of gangster. Mm-hmm. But I played this game before, you know? I started in 2004 with Vote or Die, and this is the evolution of that thought, of that empowerment, of that independence, of us taking self-accountability so we're not caught with our pants down like this election. Right now, we're not gonna get nothing. We caught with our pants down. We're not organized, we're not ready to really take this on.
Hold up, let me ask you, what's the difference between Vote or Die Diddy and Hold Your Vote Diddy? And what occurred between those two phases that made the change happen?
I went through the experience of politics. I played the game with the Democratic Party. The people that I went and campaigned for, after they got elected, I don't feel like they really did anything to change the reality of black people. Like I was blessed enough to find God come to me and tell me my purpose.
Now, I ain't gonna show the whole video. Again, that's something else people can go watch on their own. But more things that he said. Now, he went through three phases. The first was the vote or die. He ran the vote or die campaign for the Democrats. He went hard on getting everybody to vote for the and nothing came out of it. Then he pulled a brother E. He actually pulled a brother E. He had another campaign, hold your vote. He told black people, man, don't vote at all. These people ain't doing nothing for us, hold your vote. Then now what he was organizing was the Our Black Party, trying to, again, the things that we've been talking about. He was trying to get black people to come together and then actually be able to push those votes in the direction of whoever's gonna. Because he later in the video he said this needs to be a business transaction. When people want our vote the same way Jews do, the same way other people do, it needs to be a business transaction. You're going to give us this, this, and this, and we'll give you this vote this time. And the vote is never dedicated to one particular person or one particular party. It's dedicated to what's going to benefit us the most. Now, if you look at things like that, that's why I say we know the old dancing Diddy didn't come in the game as revolutionary, but something happened that he saw and experienced that made him realize that, oh man, I think he started to realize that this stuff ain't right. It ain't right. And no matter how hard I work or whatever I put in, I'm never gonna get what I need out of this, and my people ain't never gonna get what they need out of this. And you start hearing this ain't the same Diddy of more money, more problems. I never thought I'd hear or see Diddy in an interview like the one we just saw. I never thought I'd see that. Or when I saw him on Invest Fest saying what he was saying, I never thought I'd see that. But it's ironic to me that after saying these things, that this is when all of this freak out Diddy comes out, you know. And is there some truth to the allegation? Without a shadow of a doubt. Was there some truth to the allegations of Dr. King loving the women? Without a shadow of a doubt. But do you think that would ever came out if Dr. King wasn't doing what Dr. King was doing? They even tried to make Malcolm look like a homosexual. They tried to make Malcolm look like a homosexual because he had been to prison. They tried to make it look like, they say that you have some that turned around and tried to say that when Malcolm talked about his partner Rudy going and putting the powder on the white man and setting up the burglary for the house, they say he used Rudy as a scapegoat, but that was really him. They say that was him putting the powder on the white man, and that's how he knew to burglarize him. They always try to demonize the character. They always attempt to do that. And you know, and one thing that we can't deny, he beat up Cassie in that hotel lobby. We saw that. But who has the power to go snatch that video from 8 years ago? These are the questions you really got. I think that really have to be asked. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
A lot of people got the power to go get that video from 8 years ago. I mean, this is a day of information that can be dug around. I'm sure I could have found the shit somewhere. I mean, the police could go and snatch up that tape. That's not something different. That shit, especially something like that, is kept for just this type of situation.
And that's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
He played his role. I don't know the motivation. You don't know the motivation, but I know this dude has done some ill shit just on the strength of, again, because we'll never know the facts. We'll never know. Nobody's going to tell the truth. None of this shit is real. Everybody's making up a bunch of shit to try to save their own ass. But the reality of it is, we do know what we've seen. We do know the misbehavior and the things that in the back of our minds, that shit ain't right. And whatever he says, whatever he tries to rock the vote and all of this, for me, too little too late. You dance with the devil and you're getting burned. You got to be a billionaire. I mean, if you're some cat on the street that got 10K in his pocket, but he had to do a bunch of dirt to get that money, just imagine the kind and the amount of dirt you had to do in order to be a billionaire, let alone an 8 billionaire. That's some real next level dirt. That's some fucking up people's lives dirt. And with the mentors and whatnot that he was exposed to, put on and trained by over these years, yeah, he's done a lot of damage. Just his image alone, the shit that he's put out there in our community. Hell, promoting Ciroc. Fuck Diddy.
Right.
We have an alcohol problem in our community. So fuck rocking the vote, fuck holding the vote. I don't give a shit what he's doing. As far as I'm concerned, he's Al Sharpton the shit. You know, he's Jesse Jackson in the shit. He's turned political. Maybe he was planning on running for some type of office. He did get the key from the mayor of New York last year. That's not a far off conclusion. And he's talking about holding the vote and all of that type of shit. Maybe he was thinking about running for an office. Don't know. We'll never know. But I do know what his actions have been, and his actions have caused way more damage than he could ever pay back by holding a fucking vote. So it doesn't really mean much to me. I mean, these are videos. He's saying shit to somebody that, well, maybe I need to say this. Maybe I need to change my image. We don't know. We'll never know. But as I said, we know when a motherfucker is doing wrong. We've seen the videos. We've heard the whispers, all of that shit. So, I mean, I don't know if any of this shit's true. He may be on a real vacation. He may be chilling in Jamaica, and this is just what they telling us, that he's locked up, trying to get bail and all. I don't know. But what I do know is what I've seen. And it's a whole lot of cats. That's a lot of sales difference in that Ciroc. So it's a whole lot of cats that picked up some Ciroc based on what he said. He got a whole lot more votes that he got to get and get into position to even hope to begin to try to erase some of the fucked up shit, the damage that he contributed to in our community. So yeah, like I said, all of his shit's true. He's fucked up, system's fucked up. They manipulated and used him until he got to a certain point. Maybe pissed somebody off. Maybe he's a distraction. I don't know. But again, and I think just the fact that it works for them to come in and do this and have us looking at him and having conversations about him is just more of an example of the Messiah complex. This is a person. Let's look at the shit that's going on around him that he represents, that these other players represent, and study the game and be about figuring out the game as opposed to being so caught up. Whether did it? Did he don't do it? I mean, who gives a shit? It's the same conversation to me. You know, and that's why we got to stop investing in people and individuals and holding them up, making them wealthy so that they can turn around and play their part in oppressing us. Because that's what happened. We bought that shit, pumped him up, and he was used to help us get even more entrenched into alcoholism and all the other shit, debauchery and whatnot that's going on. So, you know, besides he might have killed Tupac. You know, you can't let that go, bro.
I agree. I don't think he killed Tupac though.
I don't know.
The Crips killed Tupac because he stumped that Crip dude out. And you can't stump no Crips
I
out.
feel you. That makes perfect sense.
Not
But
in
then
no cat.
you also got cats coming out with just as much access to what actually went on, saying that, you know, Diddy had like a, what was it, 150, 200,000 bounty on Pac's head or some shit, or $1 million. I give you $1 million to kill Pac. I mean, again, everybody's gonna have some information on this shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna have something to say. So
and it's kind of like what you just said. I don't think all that is as relevant. Like even from this point, personally, I don't really care about Diddy himself because I don't personally know the man. However, the reason I'm analyzing this situation is because it gives us an insight into how they play the game, even at the highest levels, so we can understand. It's the thing that we constantly talk about is that oppression. And I don't care if you get to a billionaire status or if you just got $1 in your pocket, you can always be taken out of the game. And that's what I think this is the perfect example of and understanding. I think if we buy into the idea that this is just some super freak sprinkling baby oil all over everybody, we'll just think he deserves it instead of understanding the deeper elements of what's going on and looking at his personal situation as an example of the fact that you can never escape this niggism. You'll never escape it. And then even the fact that even no friend, it goes to what a lot of y'all, what y'all was saying earlier. He has no friends coming out. All the people that was partying and kicking it with him and in pictures with him and the black glitterati and all of that, there are nobody coming out to speak. You got to ask yourself why not? Because they're afraid. They terrified. I don't think they so terrified about what he's going to say about them. If he comes out and people come out and speak for him, then the same people that had just took Diddy off his pedestal will snatch theirs away as well. And I think that's what we need to look at. Whether Diddy and his 100,000 bottles of baby oil is not important. It's not important at all. But understanding this system, I think is, and this gives us a perfect example or a perfect opportunity to truly examine the games that they play and how the game is played.
And I think we can't really examine or get caught up in examining his particular situation unless it's part of a broader picture. It's the same shit Monique went through. It's the same shit we can apply to R. Kelly, Michael Jackson. I mean, how many nigga wake up calls do we have to get before we realize, oh, that's what this is? But we keep shuffling it aside, and part of it is because we keep looking at them as individual occurrences. P. Diddy is Oprah. She didn't get busted down, but he's playing that role. P. Diddy is R. Kelly, is Michael Jackson, is got too big for your britches. Da, da, da. I mean, the list goes on and on back through our entire time of dealing with these folks. This is what the fuck they do, period. And then you have somebody come along like Dave Chappelle who says, nah, fuck that, I'm not going to do that. And they do the same playbook, destroy, bring him down in the eyes of the people. Oh, he's on crack, he had to go to Africa type shit because he refused to do certain things. So yes, we have to look at the entire system, the entire process, and understand that these things are going to be, when you dance with the devil don't change, it changes you. You dance with these motherfuckers, and that's the whole premise for me behind not participating in a fucking vote, because this is what they do. This is the system you are trying to be a part of. Use this as a further example to let you know that even if you get big money status, you're still not in charge. No matter how much money you get, you are still a nigga. And that's the way they're going to treat you, and that's going to be the interaction. And so rather than investing in, because people at our level think if I can just get this X amount of money, I'll be free. That's the American dream. Make enough money, get a big house, da 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 da. Not realizing that the bigger your house is, the more bullshit you got to do. The more money you get, the more dirty shit you done did. And that's what this keeps telling us. You want more big money? Okay, you got to do this, this, and this, and this. Every fucking time. Every time. But we keep looking at them as individual occurrences as opposed to a track record, looking to the whole thing all together. Monique's homies turned their back when she went at it with Netflix. Steve Harvey had her on the show. All them conversations, they turned their back, according to her, turned their back on her. Oprah's fucking people out of money that she's supposed to pay for some shit, some movie that she had released and had black women, particularly, what's her name? Taraji or some shit, was pissed off because she wasn't getting paid by Oprah. So, I mean, it's the same scenario, but we keep fighting to be a part of it. We truly, really want to be a part of a system that thinks that Diddy and the shit he's done is valuable. That's the problem. We're only looking at the glitz and the glamour, but not the trade-off. Yes, you can be wealthy, but there's a price for that shit. So it's that same scenario happening again. And that's what's irritating for me is they keep doing the same fucking playbook, and we keep refusing to accept that. They're showing us who they are, how they're playing us, and we keep playing along. So fuck Diddy, fuck Jay, fuck all them motherfuckers. At least they're living a nice lifestyle while they're getting fucked, instead of like the rest of us down here with no 1,000 bottles of lube, just getting raw all the time. So at least they enjoyed their ride. They enjoyed part of the ride.
And see, that's what I'm saying though. Is you just said that we're not looking at the track record, and we're still falling for the game. And I think that being willing to run and say, yeah, he's just this freak that had all these 1,000 lubes of oil and was raping children and squirting oil out everybody, that's part of the game. Because that's the game that they play. That's what they did. Michael Jackson, he's molesting all these kids. R. Kelly, he's peeing on all these kids. Bill Cosby, he's drugging all these ugly white women. It's the game. And if we don't wake up and start saying that even that's part of the game, and then another thing the black people do that, and Dr. Umar said this, I'm gonna give him this. He said that black people are far too willing and happy to turn over another black person to the white injustice system, and we're clapping. We're happy to see these people fall. We want to see it. We're happy. We love to see the people destroyed. It's like we get some kind of perverse joy out of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think all of that is part of the game that you're talking about. All of that, us, our desire, turn the poor against the wealthy, turn the light against the dark, turn the young against the old. I think all of that is part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not defending Diddy. I don't really even care about Diddy's personal situation or what's going on with Diddy. I'm not defending Diddy. I'm saying look at the situation. And I'm saying, you said wake up. That's what I'm saying. Wake up. Look at the whole situation and wake up. Don't fall. We got that nigga deep slave spirit in us where it's easy for us to be shown a black person fall, and we think it's our job to be happy that they fallen. We think it's our job. We're so willing to believe it without anything else. All they got to do is tell us, and we're willing to run with it. We're willing to run and clap our feet together that it's happening. All of that's part of the game. If we're not gonna fall asleep and go for for none of the game, we can't go for any of it. All of that is part of the game, and we got to understand that.
And the root of all of this shit is the cultural norm that racism, white supremacy is the what. The how is the forced acceptance of this concept of the individual. Because all Diddy did was to feed and make it possible for people to indulge in their own individual, vices, which in turn turned around and fed his particular own personal vices. There was no communal, no cultural, no concept of accountability to the masses of the people, to the long term, to the overarching who it is we are. And so as long as that's a part of our reality, it's okay, because it's just that one guy. There is no responsibility that he has to us. So he can sell us whatever it is, while as long as he indulges and gets his, as long as he gets that bag, then we'll sit back and clap for that shit, because he's getting something. The fuck they got to do with us? I'm still broke. But again, we feed into this idea of the individual, and that's just more of it. It's a hyper degree, but this is what they do, whether it's entertainment, because the people that you named off were entertainers, which is fucked up that that's the first thing for us that we have to reference about the game. We can't talk about this type of scandal going on in DC behind a bunch of black folks. You know what I'm saying? It's always one or two of us out on our own to get into some trouble. But there's no royalty in DC the way there's royalty in the entertainment industry for black folks. I mean, if that makes any sense. So we always have to go to those people that are put up, as Malcolm talked about, as our leadership, which is entertainment motherfuckers. But that shit is the same shit. So we always talk about it in terms of Hollywood or the music industry or whatever. But politics, DC, I'm saying politics now, I'm talking about the deep state and Trump and Kamala and Biden and Obama and all the rest of them. They're involved in the exact same shit. They have their secret circles that they do some perverted ass shit, skull and bones, some perverted ass shit that they do. Just ask Epstein. He was doing the same exact shit for more powerful people, and the politician to entertainer ratio was very different. They had some white entertainers, but they had a whole lot more political figures. I mean, you're talking about the Prince of England type of shit, damn near the King of England involved in the shit that he is caught up in. But it's the same fucking game. And that's the shit that we acquiesce. We lunge after that shit. I think War was going to talk now. Go ahead, War.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and it kind of goes back to what Syke was saying earlier about Martin Luther King. But let me put it down in a statement here. How he broke the codes on both sides. You don't reveal the hand that is in contradiction to the very next move of the game and think you are beyond the game maker. And that's the problem that Diddy did. Let me repeat that one more time. Don't reveal the hand that is in direct contradiction to the next move of the game and think you are beyond the game maker. The deal is, Diddy went into this game with all of these perversions as part of the package that he accepted because that's how he got introduced to it. At some point, you want to call yourself doing something good for the people, but you allowed your ego to make you have to be the center, still the center of that movement. If he was real about helping black people, he would have left his black ass in his place and he would have funneled the money, funneled the access to folks that are in the movement that can actually manipulate and do things on a powerful level with his resources, as opposed to coming out and revealing his hand in the game and thinking the game maker ain't finna stop him because he breaking the code. How you gonna come in the game when they done already marked you with something that they can use to take you out and think you're gonna talk about anything that's gonna progress the folks, anything that's gonna help black people, and they not in your card don't get pulled. If he had a war council around him, any one of them would have told him, hey, if we are truly trying to help black folks, if you truly want to make these moves, then use your resources, stay on your platform, and let's play this hand behind scenes. Reginald Lewis, if y'all remember him, a black billionaire who wrote a book called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? Basically laid it all out, how he had to pretend that it had to hide and suppress the fact that it was actually a black person at the helm. In the meantime, he in the background did some things for the civil rights movement, did some power moves. But once that book come out and you start letting everybody know that this was what's going on, brain cancer come up, and now he dead. We got to see what's really going on. If he is sincere about helping black people, and that's really his motivation, which I don't think it is, but if he was sincere and that was really his motivation, then why would you come out knowing that you're going to be targeted, knowing that because you the one with all this power are going to get taken out? I see it as no different than a drug dealer who at some point in his power, all of a sudden grows a consciousness and now wants to help fund and support a hospital or support a rehab program. But yet you still in the game. But yet you still pushing this poison. But on the flip side, you're going to contribute to something good, as if that is supposed to offset and outweigh how all the souls that you done lost through your rise of fame and fortune. And that's what we're dealing with Diddy. So even though he had these powerful moves that he talked about doing, there ain't no way in hell that you think you're gonna make these moves knowing that you got set up in the game with a mark. They marked you from the moment you set your foot in the game. So to think that you're going to turn around and do anything progressive to help black people and you still be the center of attention, knowing you done did this move you done did, don't even make sense to me. That's the part that don't make sense. So although I do like the clip you played, Psych, in terms of some of the powerful stuff he was stating that he wanted to do to contribute to black people, I don't think that his intent of coming into the game and being powerful had anything to do with the stuff that he said. I think he just felt like in the back of his mind, consciously, he could sleep better at night with the shit that he really was doing in terms of selling people's soul, in terms of selling out our people, that if he contributes some of it as a philanthropist on the other side of the fence, that would make him sleep better, make him feel better about who he is and what he is and what he done to hurt our people. That's what I see.
Some things in life you just can't come back from. He chose that path, and that's it. You know, you can't come in and all of a sudden you righteous and shit. Fuck that. No, I'll never trust you again, homie.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with that. And maybe the people will put something in the comments. Let us know what y'all think. Do you think Diddy was trying to come back and be righteous and be a part of the righteous community with the people and they decided to take him out? Do you think, and I can honestly say I agree. Well, nah, I ain't gonna pervert the people's thought with that. Do you think Brother Wall was right? When if he really did want to make that change, then he should have been smart and just funneled the money to the people that can actually do it because he had went too far and there's no way he could have came back? Or do you agree with the the unapologetically African Joker and that he was just a perverted guy that sold out our people, sold all that alcohol to our people, and you all right about that, E. And he just got what was coming to him because he decided that he thought that he was actually part of the circle. He couldn't play his nigger role. What you think? Get in the comments. What's wrong with y'all?
I do want to mention one book that it's a two-part series anyway that I think is overdue based on the subject matter we're talking about. The psychological covert war on hip hop, and I think that's important for anybody that wants to actually be concerned about some of this mess that's going on in terms of the lifestyle, as well as the manipulation that's being done through the rap music and through music in general and through Hollywood and through entertainment industry in general that is being done to subdue and subvert our people, and the level of destruction that is being done, because not enough of us realize just how the entertainment industry is basically used to keep us asleep and how that's all part of the plan. So Professor Griff, on this series of books he wrote, part 1 and part 2, the psychological war, covert war on hip hop, is a very good introduction into the subject matter, because Professor Griff called this out back when this book was written. We talking decades ago. So what the same stuff we sitting here talking about, 2010, I think is what it says on there, but he called this stuff out way back then on what's going down. And here it is that it's just now coming to light, and we're acting like it's something new. A lot of people just now getting exposed to this as if this is new. And Griff talked about this way back in the day when he was with PE, with Public Enemy. Remember, he was targeted because he was trying to expose the group to the truth. And when he called it out for what it is, all of a sudden he get yanked out of Public Enemy. It can get deep. It can get deep. And so I think any of our people that are serious about realizing the destruction that the entertainment industry has done, the number that's done on us, should go check out that book.
Just another Kanye moment. Ain't nothing. He thought he was too big to get canceled. Like, again, just another example of shit they keep doing and we keep feeding. So, yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's cut and dry, simple. Fuck trying to figure out whether he did or didn't. Invest your time in figuring out why this keeps coming up. Why does this keep happening?
Yeah.
Same scenario. You get too political, you get to talking too much about that black shit, or try to stand up like a black man and sue somebody or whatever. Yeah, you get your card pulled. I mean, I don't understand the misunderstanding.
Right.
Regardless of who you like, he might have been straight missionary style. That might have been, I'm just straight, I'm a Mormon. This is the way I like it. But he played a game, and he knew what the outcome was going to be. He knew the possibilities. There's no way he couldn't know it. He was in the game. He helped do it to other motherfuckers. I know he did.
He forgot what chessboard he was on at any given moment. And I think that's part of the problem. He's so used to being a king on the chessboard, he forgot that when he switched tables, he a pawn at this one. He forgot which chessboard he was on.
Yeah, well. So are you saying, so let me ask you this, let me clarify this so we can make sure we understand what you're saying. So you saying that when you at this level, or when you start having your little money, are you saying don't say anything political at all? You are what you are, ain't no changing happening, and keep your mouth shut and play your role and keep getting your bread? Are you saying that?
I'm saying you got to figure out what your role is going to be and accept the consequences if you're going to play it. You can't bitch and whine when your consequences, if they come and kick in the door, tomorrow morning or some shit, because I joined the Panther party. Well, I chose to do that shit. Like, so what? I can't sit back and then say, oh, I didn't know they was going to do this. No. So, I mean, he chose this role. He got the benefits from it. He been living large. That's why I say he danced with the devil. He got all the shit that he was promised. We look at the Twilight Zone as an episode and other TV shows where motherfuckers make deals and sell their soul to the devil. What movie, what episode of what show does that scenario ever work out in the favor of the motherfucker that sells their soul? It never does. You sell your soul. When it's time to pay up, motherfuckers are like, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. They trying to beg and bargain and negotiate this shit. No, you made this deal. Your time is up. You out of here, homie. He accepted that shit. So if you're going to do the shit, that's fine. But accept your shit and don't start bitching and whining about being persecuted or unjustly this or unjustly that. You know, if you're going to do it, do the damn thing. And for us as a people, we got to stop letting motherfuckers do the damn thing to us by looking at their actions and taking them in as a whole, which we're not going to do. Because, I mean, let's face it, him and the rest of the industry did a damn fine job. And we are so much more caught up in this bullshit, this integration, this individual, this entertainment, all of this shit. We're so much more caught up and sold on this shit than we were years ago. You know, back in the 60s, back before integration, back before all of that shit. But now we've bought into it, which is why this motherfucker can be used the way he's been used to both fund it and do the little backdoor low-level shit that they've had him doing. So no, I'm not advocating one way or the other. I give a fuck about what he does, what he did, and you know, how they kill him when he in prison. I don't care. You know, I've seen it so many times, it's boring. The fucking storyline is worn the fuck out. It's worn out. But we just keep buying into that shit. And this is our wake-up call. It's not his nigga wake-up call. It's too late. They done smothered him in his sleep. This is our nigga wake-up call to let us know, yes, a billionaire nigga is still a nigga. So it can definitely happen to you. But I don't see us taking that route.